says basically he's going to believe Dwight over the doctor. That's for sure. That's what it is. But the way he says, Sherry told Dwight about this whole thing, and then Dwight came to. I'm like, what? Like, how did this conspire? It's really weird. Like, it's
yet another case of not being able to show their work.
Exactly. So like, they have the no thing, and then it's just and then Dwight told him right before she left. I'm like, Negan, you're buying all this? Like, you don't feel like they're trying to conspire in a certain way? I guess he could have left, and Negan would say, well, of course the logic is Dwight doesn't want to get his other side of his face burnt or even just die in that regard. So Negan's logic kind of makes sense, and he will believe Dwight, but in a certain way, how are you not left suspicious?
Yeah, it really paints Negan as kind of a dummy in this, because he's so quick to, and he even says like, why, for what reason would Dwight have to lie to me?
For the reasons that we're seeing right now. He's in cahoots with Sherry a bit, and still conflicted about his position being with you. That's I don't know. He just can't. Well, Negan has other concerns. He doesn't care either. But
he's like, in the future, if we find out that he was lying, I'll burn the other side of his face. But it's like, well, that still buys Dwight a hefty amount of time.
That's right.
To get away. It buys him at least another day.
That's true.
So I don't know. It's strange. I don't know, and I'm sure Eugene is Dr. Smarty Pants, but this doctor is a real doctor.
Right. No, they're not replacing the doctor with him. That's not what he meant.
Kind of, though.
They said you have another one in line, but they didn't point. They wouldn't. I don't think they didn't say it was Eugene's going to be treating people, or else he'd be doing that in Alexandria.
I'm pretty sure they implied that he would be. No. Yeah, they even said you pay attention to this, and I'm pretty sure it's because he has at least the information. Because he said how he could read a book and retain that knowledge, and he can understand how to do things just by seeing it. Yeah. And this is like, well, we'll kill the doctor because we have this. And he kept calling him Dr. Smarty Pants. Kept calling him a doctor.
Well, okay. It's just we won't discuss this for very long.
Okay.
From what I think, and like I remember trying to pay attention to this the second time. Maybe it made it more unclear when I saw it the second time. At first I said, are they going to replace the doctor with Eugene?
Yeah.
And then I'm saying to myself, well, no, he already said he's the head chef engineer, so those are two different things. To do medical work and that is completely different. And what he wants him to do with the walkers is what he wants. But when he says, I want you to pay attention, maybe he's just saying, you're new to this, you got to see this. Yeah. But then to say, like, okay, look, I distinctly heard him saying that, like, luckily we have another doctor in line, and they show Eugene, but I don't necessarily mean that's just them showing Eugene's reaction, not because he's going to be replaced by him. But we don't know for sure.
He edited on that, and I'm pretty sure Negan looked right at him and was like, "Look, we have another doctor in line," and it's like, yeah. I believe that's entirely 100% what they're trying to show.
If that's what it is, then
they've never hinted at another doctor being on the premises.
So why didn't he do that in Alexandria? Are you going to tell me he could have been a doctor?
No, I don't think that Eugene could have been a doctor, but I think that Negan is out of options. Negan has to kill this doc because he is the one that let Dwight go in his mind, so he has to punish him. So
you mean Daryl? Sorry, you said Dwight instead of Daryl.
The one who, you know what
I know. I'm sorry.
So the doctor.
I'm trying to help you.
The doctor was framed by Dwight.
Right.
Now the doctor needs to be punished.
Exactly.
So Negan doesn't really have a choice. He could either show weakness and let him stay because he has no options. He needs a doctor to help, be a doctor around. But now if he kills the doctor, let's push that task onto Eugene, who is lying. He's part of the Human Genome Project. All this stuff. It's stuff that goes over Negan's head.
Did you say he's lying?
Well, I mean, Eugene's line.
That he was part of the Human Genome Project?
Well, about all this stuff, yeah.
Oh, okay. I what do you mean by that? Like, I'm sorry.
What do you mean? You don't know that this is Eugene's whole thing?
Oh, you mean that he lied that he was a part of it. Oh, he's using the same lies what he used on Rosita and Abraham?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I felt like because
he's not part of it. He made it all up.
Okay, so he made it all. Yeah, no, just because he is really smart in the way he is, but maybe he was a part of something, and then there was really nothing to conspire from what he was a part of, and that's what he lied to Abraham and Rosita about. So maybe he was still a part of it. Maybe he just didn't. There's nothing that was conspiring from it.
He was just some guy. I don't know what he did before.
Because in The Talking Dead, Josh McDermott talks about this is the closest, if we ever have an origin story, this is the closest you get to it so far. So I thought he implicated the fact that he was a part of something, but then nothing came about of it. It was all failed in a way. And then when he approached Abraham to help him survive, he conjured up a reason to. But he doesn't necessarily mean that he was lying about being a part of it. But there was nothing, ongoing about what he was doing.
He said he told Abraham explicitly, I lied about everything. I was never part of the Human Genome Project.
Okay, so I don't remember that.
I was never best friends with like whatever the doctor's name was.
Right.
Though I did see him once from a distance at like an event or something.
So he's still lying in a way. Okay, I didn't catch that. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So this whole thing that he's saying here is he's just reverting back because Negan was about to kill him. Negan was like, "Oh, like you're actually a stupid guy who just talks."
You're just a lying asshole.
Smart.
He said,
"Yeah, you can sound smart, but there's nothing to it." And that's when Eugene reverts back to, he's like, okay, it worked on Abraham. I'm going to
work on Negan, yeah. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I forgot about that. I thought because I figured that could have still been true, but then I didn't think he could still been a part of the Genome Project. Just nothing was ongoing afterwards when he met Abraham.
But at that point, it wouldn't have made him a liar. It just would have made him someone who. But he said he was completely lying. Like he wanted to get to Washington to figure this out, but. Right. If he was lying the whole time, he never really wanted to get to Washington.
But then I just remember the whole line with fire would fire.
Yeah.
He said that again to the wives, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, well, that was lines. BS when he said that. He's doing it again here.
Yeah, it's a whole new crowd of people. You can say whatever you want.
Okay. Well, that's funny.
So the doctor doesn't have his face burned. He has his whole body burned as Negan throws him right into the fire.
Yeah, I know that we're talking about it so much. It's totally undershadowed, like how cool that was in a way.
Well, it sounded cooler for like I thought that Negan took him and threw his whole body into the incinerator.
Yeah, you just saw.
But when you see it later, it's just his torso, like just his front. His
yeah,
legs are still hanging out.
It's kind of like a Lake Placid moment, if the crocodile just bite the first half of your body, and but I'm surprised.
You've never seen Lake Placid?
No, I haven't. But I remember that. I do remember.
I remember you explicitly asking if you should see Lake Placid.
I know, and it wasn't in this cast too. But it's just to say that I did see parts. I know of parts of it. And,
there's an alligator or a crocodile,
but he did eat half a man. I know that.
Half a man.
Yeah, I know that. But just to say, regardless, though, I was saying before, like he threw him into a fire. I'm surprised he wasn't yelling a little more than that. Like there's got to be more. Like I'm surprised they didn't use the sound. I feel like they're downplaying like these kills.
This one definitely seemed like they were downplaying.
They were very much downplaying.
It was a very PG, like maybe it was a PG kill. Like,
and I'm like, why? Why does that? I really feel like they said they weren't going to turn down the brutality, but they kind of are. Even though the idea is already bad, like burning a man alive is pretty bad already.
Yeah.
But however, though it is a very high, it's a high heated. Wow, I can't even.
It's a furnace.
It's a furnace. Like things could burn in seconds.
It's for smeltering, right?
Yeah, exactly. They could burn things in seconds with that.
Yeah, so your brain's probably bubbling up real soon.
Yeah, so. I guess it would be exaggeration if he's still yelling, but I suppose. But like,
I don't imagine you get 10 seconds of yelling in there. But I didn't hear too much yelling to begin with, so I don't know. Yeah, hard to say. So the wives ask Eugene after this for the pills. But he's on to them now. He knows that they want the pills for Negan. That's why they said we need 2 pills. Because he was making them specific for her weight. And now they want to use them on Negan. Mm-hmm. They make a point saying, wouldn't you want to kill him? He killed your friends. And Eugene makes the point that I've been making this whole time.
Would he kill 30 of his?
He killed some of our men, but we did start it, and we killed tons of their men. We killed a whole outpost, and then people on the road, and we just continued to kill people. And frankly, like I am surprised that Negan is so cool about it.
Well, because he wanted the people that had killed him. We know that already. We discussed this already. We're saying that he wanted to keep those. It took skill. It took it did take a certain I don't know. It took a big initiative for them to do it, so Negan wanted to make sure that they work for them. However, those are probably the wrong people to go for in the first place. He should have probably killed them all.
And Negan's men are okay with this leadership. All 30 to 40.
Well, they get to walk around. They get to walk all over them. That's the reason why they're so mistreated when they go to Alexandria. These are the guys that killed our outpost. So that's the reason why they're never going to.
You should be dead, but we're going to make you wish you were dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
all right, that makes sense.
That makes sense. But for I'm going to say Josh McDermott, but for Eugene,
haircut
for him it's just if he's not going to be mistreated and he's going to be treated well, he's not going to mess up that advantage that he has now.
No, he's starting to get smarter here. Eugene realizes now just how valuable he is.
And everybody's hating him on this. Like I'm looking at Twitter right now, it's like, this he wrote the book on bullshit. People are just like,
he has to. He's a survivor. He's a survivor.
I feel like it's if in his position that's the best way to do it. You're not going to say no to it, but if I don't know. I mean, Daryl was able to say no, but to be fair, he was put in a cell. So,
yeah.
And especially Daryl, the fact that he killed an entire crew single-handedly with the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, Eugene had it pretty well considering. So
yeah, well, Eugene, I think, is making the best choice right now.
Is it? Yeah. What else? What else could he do? He can't do anything else.
Best
he could
choice.
He could blow the whole sanctuary up if he wants to. There's a way to do it.
I mean, for sure, you do this. Like Daryl was an idiot because you by refusing.
He got away though.
But by refusing to give in, you're not going to make it any easier on yourself. You do give in. Maybe you become you get put in a position like Dwight. All of a sudden, Dwight's allowed to leave to go look for Sherry. At this point, maybe 2-3 years down the line, now you can escape, Daryl.
You're kind of like, that job you look for. It's temporary. It's not my dream, but it's temporary. And then you get sucked into it for a good 3 years and you forget your way to actually work on your dream job.
Well, it's like you got to do it. We saw Dwight knows how to do it. Dwight did it with the claimers, the people who kept claiming everything. Even though he didn't agree with the way they worked,
You mean Daryl?
Sorry, yes. Daryl. Man, Daryl stuck with this group of marauders just because it was protection. It was the group, they were a little rougher, but this group was going to offer him protection.
Yeah, but he learned not to do that anymore. That was a learning curve for him. And Rick came back and they killed him together and realized, Rick is the person he wants to be with, for the rest of the apocalypse.
Yeah, but he should have learned from his lesson where had he not joined them, he would have been killed on the spot. But because he joined them and because
that's true.
They took him under their wing, and then later when the opportunity came up,
but
he was able to help Rick kill them.
This makes Daryl smarter because he knew Negan wanted him.
Yes.
So he used that position entirely until he was able to escape.
He wouldn't have even had the chance to escape. Sherry let him out. He didn't even do anything. All Daryl did was sit in the cell and just say no.
That's true. Things could have taken longer, but this is where we have to suspend our disbelief that everything worked out for the best.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it wasn't any of his doing that got him out.
Right. But just I don't know. I mean, do you feel okay? How do you feel about Eugene though? Do you feel like Eugene is this backstabber? Well, not the backstabber, but like, do you ever feel like he's gonna go back to Rick's group?
I don't feel like Eugene owes anybody anything.
Right.
I feel like Eugene is looking out for number one. He's doing what he needs to do. He's got a good setup here. He's treated better here.
Right.
He's got pickles.
He's got pickles. Video games.
But like in all honesty, he has a better life here. It's just that what's he making bullets for? He's making bullets for the wrong side. He's making bullets for, but.
And what's going to happen to Negan's wives now? He kind of has some insight now. Now he knows like some people who are in the inside who are not falling in line. So he knows like 3 wives right now. Negan knows about Amber for sure. But
yeah, he saw that girl shoplifting too. He's
I don't know. Like what's going to happen here? Like is he going to use that position? Is Dwight going to have to watch out for Eugene? But the thing is that like what we saw first though, when for some reason, as much as we said we didn't buy into the fact that he agreed to make the pills in the first place. The fact that he did agree in the first place is because he's still trying to hold on to that goodness that he was a part of before he got to the sanctuary.
Yeah, I think so. I think we see that goodness. Bleed out of him when he realizes that they were making these pills for Negan. After the face burning, because I'm pretty sure it's like, well, I definitely don't want to be in that position.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's traumatized by this. He's really scared of this. So do you still feel like this is like, okay, he's bullshitting to survive, to live in fear because he's in fear, or because he's really going to buy into being a part? Is he really Negan? Do you really think he's Negan?
Yeah, I think he's Negan.
You think he's Negan?
I think he's Negan until a better situation comes up.
Okay, yeah.
Just like he's been living his entire life. He's going to do whatever he needs to do until an opportunity presents itself that is ideal.
It's because it's a situation where, I mean, okay, we're talking about the attributes that he lost when he sacrificed himself in the RV. But we're going to go, we said we want to move past it, and we are. I'm going to bring up other examples. When he wanted to be a survivor, he wanted to prove to Abraham that he's a survivor.
Okay.
This all comes back. Does he lose that, or does he keep that, or does he, the initiative to actually make bullets, and then the initiative that when he bit Dwight's dick. Yeah. The funny thing is that they end up being side by side at the end of the episode. It's like, oh, remember when I bit your dick off? Does Dwight remember that?
Well, Dwight kind of stopped him from talking, but maybe he doesn't remember.
Oh my! It's just so you had those situations where where you find Eugene, so we find him righteous at some point, and then about to self-sacrifice, and
I think Dwight, I think Eugene has always just looked out for himself, and he's
bit Dwight's dick to save everybody, didn't he?
Yeah, but
He was going to make bullets for everybody for them to survive because he knew there was a greater threat out there. I mean, is that all lost now? I mean, there's no wrong answer here.
I think it's not lost. I think it's just been transferred over to a group.